Hey everyone, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my review of Triangle of Sadness, directed by Robin Alston. Before I get into the good and the bad of the movie, I'm going to start with the premise. In this satirical drama, a cruise for the super rich sinks, leaving the survivors, including a fashion model and a celebrity couple, trapped on an island to survive on their own. Will they tear each other apart or figure out how to survive? Let's get into the good. So Triangle of Sadness is separated into three acts, which I thought was really interesting, an interesting way to tell the story because each act is very different and can be their own movies upon themselves. One watches the kind of the main characters of the movie, two celebrity model couples and their relationship and their quibbles and arguments and the way they're working through things and how real their relationship is. And the chemistry between these two were so good that I wish I could have watched the whole movie with just them two alone. I thought that they did a great job with the dialogue and the way the scene developed between these two from when they were in a restaurant until they got to a hotel and everything in between. I really like the actors, I really like the characters they were playing, and I like the conversation that they were having about power dynamics in a relationship. So that really set off the tone of the film in terms of the serious part of it. And then the movie moves into Act Two, where these same two people get invited to this super, super exclusive, rich boat trip, yacht trip, I should say. And we get introduced to other main characters and supporting characters, more one percenters, people who own bombs and landmines and makes money off of agriculture and things that I can't even perceive how much money these people have. And we start getting introduced to all these different characters, the personalities, and how they move around and act. And we start seeing these characters interact with the help and the people who are helping, and the movie also shines light on them and the struggles and the things that they go to try to make things seem perfect and not piss these people off at any point. And just the way the rich people kind of take advantage and treat them like objects that you can just throw around. Like, you go in the pool now for me, even though they're not supposed to do things like that. It's like a very small example of what happens in this movie. And as the movie progresses and we start getting to the night that they're supposed to have the captain dinner, Woody Harrelson shows up, one of my favorite actors. He's always hilarious in everything he does, and he's hilarious in this movie as well. And what he does in this movie, I'm not gonna spoil it, but that little twist that he provides and what happens on the day that he does his captain dinner is hilarious. It was so funny, but there's a warning for you guys. It involves a lot of throw up and vomit and bodily fluids. So if you're easily queasy and don't like that stuff, have a fear of that stuff, this movie's not for you because that scene goes on for a long time. That thing goes on for a long time. So it's not something like, okay, I'll deal with it for the little 5 minutes or 2 minutes that it happens. It's like 10 minutes. So definitely, if you're not into that type of stuff, or like, I don't think anyone's into that stuff, but you know what I mean. If it's something that makes you queasy easily and want to throw up yourself, do not check this movie out. Because it's an integral part of the movie. You can't skip it. So yeah, that's just a bit of a warning. But all that was really, really funny, entertaining, and there was a lot of different things playing, like playing amongst the characters while all this is happening. The third act sees, as the description, the premise said, the sink shipping. And I'm not gonna say why it ships, how it sinks, I should say, not ships, how it sinks. But that part is actually very interesting as well and ties into the third act and how the movie progresses. But throughout this movie, there's this satirical thing going on with the characters, but also this social commentary about how the 1% does not provide for the community. They hoard all their resources and then hire people or who are in lesser income, and how they treat them and see them. And that dynamic is flipped when money is not needed anymore. And that's kind of where the third act goes. And we see the remaining characters who land on that island, and hilarity ensues. A lot of relationship drama ensues. And there's a particular character that was the help that has this amazing transformation where she was kind of this one of the many quiet people who were cleaning in the background. Now it comes in the forefront, and I thought that was actually phenomenal how they did that and introduced it. Everything flowed really well in this movie for me, for the most part. When I get into the bad, I'm gonna talk about some over stuff and filler issues, but for the most part, I think that the movie did really good job of flowing from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3 and introducing different dynamics, but never making it feel like it doesn't make any sense. And on the technical side, this movie looks really good. It's not the best cinematography or best camera work ever, but it does look good. It's not going to insult your eyes. And the music is okay, but the editing and the acting and everything like that and the writing is done really well. The conversations are believable. It's a really well-made movie on that part for something that was only made on like $14 million. It's on the smaller side. Now let's talk about the bad. So, another one of these indie movies, over 2 hours, when sometimes it doesn't need to be. With this one, I didn't mind too much, but there is a beginning part that they do with one of the main couple characters, the male one, where they dwell on his modeling career and do certain stuff. And it didn't really matter. And that was like the only part of the movie where I was like, this is a scene that doesn't matter. And it's in the beginning of the movie. And I thought that it was going to tie back in or it was going to mean something, and it didn't. So I was very confused on why they added all that in the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the film. And they could have just started out with his relationship with his girlfriend, his influenced girlfriend, because that was really more integral into how the social commentary and how things go on in the movie itself. So yeah, I do think that they could have cut this movie down about 10, 15 minutes, maybe even 20, if they would have cut that beginning section out. That section could have been an interesting movie in itself, but that's the only thing that's so separate from the rest of the plot that it wasn't needed. Let's talk about the verdict. So I really enjoyed this movie. I laughed, I got queasy, I really got engaged in the drama that was happening, especially in the second act. I thought there was a lot of crazy, funny, wonderful characters in here. A lot of them I didn't think were really great people, but they were engaging to watch and see, even though they weren't super likable. And I think that the performances were really good, and it was overall a fun movie to watch, and that's the most important part. The movie is fun. It's a satirical drama comedy, and has a lot of drama, has a good amount of comedy, and the satire and the social commentary all works for me. I think it works for me, and I think it will work for others. And I think you guys should check this out in the theater if you can. I know it's a smaller movie, so it might not be everywhere, but when it does come to streaming, this is a definite check on PVOD or on streaming, and I'm gonna give it a B. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Triangle Sadness if you saw it? And if you didn't see it, did my review egg you on to go see it in theaters or on streaming? Let me know in the comments below what you felt. Hit that like button if you like my review. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, and ranking lists. And you can watch more of my content right now.